Just before introducing our guest speaker, I would like to remind you to please switch your phones to silent vibrate if you haven't already done so. But today we are very honored to have with us Deputy Commissioner Song Ruan of the Commissioner's Office of the Chinese Foreign Ministry in Hong Kong, and he will be telling us about Hong Kong's growing ties with the world, the central government's role over the past 20 years, and after he delivers his prepared speech, there will be an opportunity for everyone to ask him questions. Mr. Song.
Thank you. Dear Vice President Liu, friends from the Council Call, business communities and the media, good afternoon. It gives me great pleasure to attend the launch event. I wish to take this opportunity to briefly talk about the diplomatic efforts the central government has made over the past 20 years to facilitate Hong Kong's growing ties with the world. In 1 month's time, we will celebrate the 20th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to the motherland. It is widely recognized that the one country, two system has achieved tremendous success over the past 2 decades. Hong Kong has maintained prosperity and stability, and the Pearl of the Orient has kept its unique charm. I'm saying Hong Kong is unique because what Hong Kong boasts cannot be found in any cities in the mainland, and also neither in other places in the world. Firstly, Hong Kong enjoys a high degree of autonomy while being the part of the country. It is a special administrative region directly under the central government. At the same time, special constitutional arrangements have been made for Hong Kong. And one country, two systems, Hong Kong people running, administering Hong Kong, and a high degree of autonomy enables Hong Kong to practice its administrative, judicial, economic, and social systems that are way different from those in the mainland. The autonomy Hong Kong enjoys is not available in mainland cities, neither could it be found in the subnational entities of many federal countries. For example, Hong Kong is vested with the independent power of final adjudication, and it does not need to pay tax to the central government. You can hardly find places in the world enjoying local autonomy as high as in Hong Kong. Secondly, Hong Kong is an international metropolis and a Chinese city as well. When it comes to Hong Kong, the first impression come to people's mind would be a global financial, trading and shipping center, home to the regional headquarters of many multilaterals, and a city extensively connected to the world. At the same time, Hong Kong is in its essence a Chinese city. Historically, Hong Kong has been under the jurisdiction of the China's Guangdong province, and its residents generally came from Guangdong province. And in the process of internationalization, most of the residents were Chinese from Guangdong and other mainland provinces. Currently, over 90% of its permanent residents are Chinese nationals. Hong Kong's Chinese nature cannot be changed, no matter how internationalized it is. Thirdly, Hong Kong is a city with well-preserved local qualities, also a place where different cultures meet. From a fishing village in the 19th century to a metropolis in the 21st century, such change would be impossible without the city's active exchanges with the world. History has left Hong Kong with diverse cultural imprints as reflected in areas such as construction, design, cuisine, and fashion. This being said, Hong Kong's culture is still underpinned by Chinese traditional culture. Traditional values such as filial piety, commitment to family, harmony, and personal integrity have been passed on from generation to generation, with some being kept even better than in the Chinese mainland. The unique status of Hong Kong has brought about unique practice. Our diplomatic work relating to Hong Kong is an important part of the groundbreaking endeavor of one country, two systems. Over the past 2 decades, Hong Kong-related diplomatic work has always been part of the central government's policy towards Hong Kong and China's overall diplomacy that befits the status as a major country. Allow me just to broad the official theme of Hong Kong as a government's 20th anniversary, the theme of Hong Kong's 20th anniversary of return, namely just 3 words: together, progress, and opportunity, to highlight a few points of the diplomatic work we have done for Hong Kong. First, together means Hong Kong and the motherland have stayed connected and share the same destiny. The city and the country prosper together, and a prosperous motherland will bring even more opportunities, prosperity to Hong Kong. This is the reality, not simply a slogan. Hong Kong experienced the 1997 Asia financial crisis, the 2003 SARS epidemic, and the 2008 global financial crisis. The city has overcome one difficulty after another over the 20 years, thanks to the strong support from the motherland. What has happened shows that a prosperous motherland is a blessing to Hong Kong and its residents. The public servants working for the central government's offices in Hong Kong, just like us, the Commission Office, and the public servants for the SR governments are all engaged in implementing the one country, two systems principle. In this sense, we are colleagues. It is important for all of us to safeguard Hong Kong's status as one part of the country and uphold the state's sovereignty, security, and development interests, as well as Hong Kong's stability and prosperity. This is the primary task for us as people engaged in diplomacy, also the shared responsibility of the SR government and the Hong Kong society. As Premier Li Keqiang said in his government work report, that the notion of Hong Kong independence will lead nowhere. The Hong Kong society needs to stay united to reject the erroneous words and deeds. The second keyword, progress, means the country use diplomatic resources to support Hong Kong in expanding its external exchanges. Every year, representatives from Hong Kong attended over 100 international conferences where statehood is required as members of the Chinese government delegation. And every year, as authorized by the central government and under the name Hong Kong China, Hong Kong delegations attended over 1,000 international conferences, not limited to states. The Hong Kong as a government also sent its official delegation to visit foreign countries and discuss issues that Hong Kong administrates on its own, while receiving facilitations from the Chinese diplomatic missions overseas. Thanks to the central government support, Hong Kong's exchanges with the world have been on a noticeable rise, and its overseas competitiveness, influence, and global visibility has been enhanced. Before 1997, foreign governments set up 50 consulates general and 38 honorary consulates in Hong Kong. Now, the total number of consulates has risen to 121, including 62 consulates general and 59 honorary consulates, plus 6 officially recognized bodies, making Hong Kong the host to the second largest consular corps in the world, just behind the city of New York, while maintaining its traditional status as a global financial, trading, and shipping center. Now the city continues to grow into two new centers. One is a global convention and exhibition center. The other is the regional legal service and the dispute settlement center. The central government has supported Hong Kong in bidding for and hosting large regional and international conferences and exhibitions. We have also supported the SAR government in setting up 12 economic trade offices overseas and participating in 10+1 cooperation between ASEAN and China, and the 10+3 cooperation between ASEAN and China, Japan, and the Republic of Korea. We support Hong Kong in conducting free trade agreement negotiations with ASEAN, and an agreement is expected to be reached at the later half of this year. As one Chinese saying goes, the waterfront pavilion gets the moonlight first. Hong Kong, with a favorable position as a waterfront pavilion, has gained a broader market and a bigger platform to perform thanks to China's active role in promoting international economic, financial, and trade cooperations over the recent years. The city used to act mainly as one-way service hub towards the mainland. Now it has developed into an intermediary facilitating two-way cooperation between mainland and the rest of the world. The Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, or AIIB, has recently approved Hong Kong to be its member, and an AIIB local office in Hong Kong is now under discussion. Last week in Beijing, the Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation was successfully concluded with 270 specific outcomes in the fields of policy, infrastructure, trade, finance, and people-to-people connectivity. Under the exceptional arrangement made by the central government, Hong Kong sent a 30-member delegation to the forum, and Chief Executive C.Y. Leung made a speech at the sub-session on financial connectivity. I just shared with you some tangible results out of the diplomatic efforts, but our work covers an even wider range of areas. We support the Hong Kong SR government in promoting the Hong Kong SR passport, which is a concrete component of the one country, two system principle. Now 158 countries and regions have given visa-free access or visa on arrival to Hong Kong SR passport holders. We have strengthened consular protection for Hong Kong compatriots overseas. A working mechanism is running well, involving the Foreign Ministry in Beijing, the Commission Office in Hong Kong, Chinese overseas missions, and the Hong Kong SR government. Over the past 2 decades, more than 12,000 consular protection cases have been handled connecting Hong Kong compatriots. We have worked to ensure that Hong Kong compatriots feel more convenient, secure, and reassured with a greater sense of dignity when they travel, study, or do business abroad. The final word, opportunity, means our diplomatic work will help Hong Kong enjoy an even more promising future. The results of a number of opinion polls suggest that economy and livelihood improvement are the two issues the Hong Kong residents get most concerned about. As an external-oriented economy, not large in size, Hong Kong's future growth cannot be achieved without deeper economic globalization, nor could it be realized in isolation from the new round of reform and opening up of the motherland. Hong Kong is faced with historic opportunities from major initiatives such as the Belt and Road, which is a century project for peace, prosperity, opening up innovation, and connecting different civilizations. And don't forget the recently announced Greater Bay Area Initiative, covering 9 cities in Guangdong Province and Hong Kong and Macau. Hong Kong needs to have a broader vision. The city should cooperate more with the outside world and open itself wider to the mainland. Hong Kong should provide what the country is in need by using its advantages and strengthen its role as the super connector between the motherland and the rest of the world. The Chinese Foreign Ministry will also bring into full play our strengths and provide what Hong Kong is in need with our own advantages. For instance, we will facilitate the cooperation between Hong Kong and the countries along the Belt and Road in finance, infrastructure, legal service, education, and culture. And Hong Kong, we will give advice and help generate opportunities for Hong Kong in applying innovation in financial and medical services, creative culture, education, and training, so as to upgrade itself to a high-end service economy. Dear friends, during his inspection tour to Macau 2 weeks ago, Chairman Zhang Dejiang of the National People's Congress said that the success of the one country, two systems lies in the firm commitment to the one country and the skillful use of the advantage of two systems. The central government is firmly committed to the implementation of the one country, two systems and hopes to see Hong Kong maintaining the advantage of its unique system. At the same time, there should be no distortion of the implementation of one country, two systems in Hong Kong. We, as diplomats, will continue to act in strict accordance with the Chinese Constitution and basic law and safeguard the state sovereignty, security, and development interests and Hong Kong's long-term stability and prosperity. I have personally engaged in the return of Hong Kong to the motherland and Hong Kong-related diplomatic work. I have also witnessed the development and change in this city over the past 2 decades. I have full confidence in Hong Kong's future, and I hope friends from the Consular Corps, business communities, and the media will provide more positive energy to the bright future of Hong Kong. As always, the Commission Office is ready to provide facilitations to your work in this city. Thank you. Now, I'm ready to take your questions.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner Song. Can I ask that microphones be circulated for the Q&A session? Okay. Mr. Song, if I may, may I ask the first question before opening up to everyone? How does the central government see the small but vocal independence movement in the city, especially at the 20th anniversary of the handover? Do you get the sense that the central government was surprised at the rise of this movement, and how do you think it plans to deal with it?
宋特派员你好，请允许我提第一个问题：中央政府是如何看待在香港的这种港独势力的？这些人虽然数量很少，但是他们的声音却很响亮。尤其是在今年，在庆祝香港回归20周年这样的这个时间点上，那么中央政府是否对于港独势力的崛起感到惊讶？那么中央政府会采取什么样的措施来应对这样的港独势力？
谢谢，这确实是一个很重要的、很大的问题。今年啊是香港回归祖国20周年，也是我今天来就是给大家分享香港回归20年来我们涉港外交工作的做的一些贡献、做的一些成绩。那么我非常记得20年前香港回归祖国之前，包括香港同胞在内的全世界的炎黄子孙呢，把香港的回归视为我们中华民族的很大的一骄傲。
Thank you. It is a very important question. And indeed, this year we will celebrate the 20th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to the motherland. And today I am here to share with you the diplomatic efforts the central government has made over the past 2 decades for Hong Kong, as well as the results that we have achieved out of these efforts. I still remember that before 1997, Hong Kong compatriots, and as well as all the Chinese around the globe, have seen the return of Hong Kong as a great pride to the Chinese nation.
所以，当这个应该说，中华民族啊，经历了好多的，在历史上啊，经历过，我们这个经历过、创造过非常辉煌的这个成就。同时，我们也近代史上也面临过这个应该说惨痛的这个命运。所以我们所有的中国人啊，都把国家的统一、把中华民族的复兴视为一个非常大的使命。
The Chinese nation has created splendid accomplishments in the process of history, yet the Chinese nation has also undergone untold sufferings in history, in particular since the modern history. Therefore, all Chinese people take national unification and the great renewal of the Chinese nation as the big responsibility and an undertaking shared by all Chinese.
我还记得，在这个香港回归之前，我们敬爱的前副总理，不是我们敬爱的邓小平先生，他曾经在这个讲过一句很重要的话：主权问题是不容谈判的。那么时间过去了，这个20多年甚至30多年，怎么这个港督的事情根本就更加是不可能的。
I still remember that before 1997, Mr. Deng Xiaoping said the following, that there should allow no negotiations on the issue of sovereignty. So after 20 years, today, the issue of Hong Kong independence would have even little way forward.
所以我们讲一国两制啊，这个一直在讲实行一国两制，它的前提是为了实现祖国的统一，要和平的解决香港的这个回归祖国的问题。所以这个发展了20年了，这个香港社会有一些人还在拿这个问题来想做文章，那就是应该说是自不量力。
One country, two systems is aimed at realizing national reunification for China. So after 20 years, some people still try to make an issue out of the so-called independence. And I think they think about themselves as having too much power.
那么这当然也不符合中国的国家利益和香港社会的整体利益，同时呢，应该说对国际投资者在香港的利益也是不利的。
I don't think this would serve the interests of China, and this would also not serve the interests of Hong Kong, and neither it would serve the interests of the international investors in the city.
所以我们觉得就是说，要整个香港社会啊，要团结起来要反对和抵制这些宣扬或者是这个推动中国这个港督的这个言行，不要让他们在破坏这个香港的繁荣稳定，破坏国家的发展，这个也这个对整个这个国际社会的这个利益也不好。
The whole Hong Kong society needs to stay united to reject the ideas and words and deeds advocating Hong Kong independence, as these ideas and these actions would not serve the prosperity and the stability of Hong Kong or the development of the country.
中国有一个成语叫养庸为患，所以为了让香港有前途，就不能让港督有前途。
In order to let Hong Kong enjoy a promising future, we must let Hong Kong independence forces have no future at all.
Thank you, sir. Next question.
Thank you. Florence de Changy from Le Monde newspaper. Thank you very much, and everything you described sounded like good news, and I guess is good news for Hong Kong. But despite all this, there is a growing dissatisfaction among the Hong Kong people. Is this growing dissatisfaction, number one, acknowledged in Beijing, and number two, addressed? Thank you.
来自法国《世界报》，您在演讲当中呢提到了很多关于香港的优势，以及对香港所传递的很多好的消息，但是呢，的确在港人心中呢也存在着越来越多的一种不满意。想请问一下，从中央政府来看呢，是否已经意识到了港人所存在的这种不满情绪，并且你们会采取什么样的措施来应对这样的不满情绪？
应该说这个香港啊，回归20年来是吧？我们大家都是一个共同的，就是一个政策，就是一国两制，港人治港，高度自治。这个政策呢，无论从它的这个起初的提出和20年来的实施，我看大家都有一个共识，这个一国两制政策、一国两制方针是最符合国家和香港这个利益的这个最大的公约数。
Over the past 2 decades, the principle of one country, two systems, Hong Kong people administrating Hong Kong, and a high degree of autonomy has been implemented in the city. And since the inception of this principle and during the implementation process, there has been a general consensus among the people that one country, two systems best serves the interests of the country as well as the interests of the city of Hong Kong. And it serves as the largest common denominator between the mainland and Hong Kong.
那么20年来，其实我们只要不带偏见，我们应该承认的是，这个香港继续保持了政治和社会的稳定，保持了经济的繁荣发展，香港人的这个依法享有的这个自由啊、权利啊各方面都得到了保障。民主也得到前所未有的巨大进步，所以这个生活水平也是有所提高。所以我觉得这总的来说，我们要客观的来看20年来的一国两制的实践，它是成功的。
So if we have a review of the achievements over the past 2 decades, anyone without bias would recognize that Hong Kong has maintained overall political as well as social stability and achieved great economic advancement. People in Hong Kong have enjoyed rights and freedoms in accordance with the law, and unprecedented progress has also been made in democracy in the city, and the livelihood improvement has also been made greatly. So indeed, tremendous accomplishments have been made in the implementation of the one country, two systems in the city.
那么，当然，这个一国两制啊，我们说的是一项开创性的事业，真是因为我是这个一直是经过这个刚刚跟大家介绍过，参与过中英谈判，涉及香港回归，然后回归之后又直接参与涉及香港的这个外交事务，所以我是亲眼知道，这个确实是一国两制啊，是一个开创性的事业，它本身就是一个平衡体，所以在实践的过程当中出现这样那样的问题，我觉得是正常的。
I myself engaged in Sino-British negotiations before the handover and have been personally engaged in the return of Hong Kong. And after 1997, I also was in charge of the foreign affairs relating to Hong Kong. So my impression is that one country, two systems is indeed a groundbreaking endeavor. It is a balanced act, and therefore it is natural to see issues and challenges emerging.
那么香港呢，这几年大家说的不满意，因为香港是一个开放性的城市，小型的经济体，所以它的发展20多年，它也会受到外围的，无论是整个全球的经济的金融形势的影响，也受到周边城市的竞争，这都是正常的。因为香港也就是由于开放， 才发展到今天，从小渔村发展到今天的这个国际都会。那么香港的进一步的发展还需要有这个全国际的眼光去开放，像双向开放，一个是对外开放，一个是对内地开放。
And if we look at Hong Kong's accomplishments, it's indeed, it has been made a lot of accomplishments. And talking about people's dissatisfaction, well, I think Hong Kong is an open economy, not large in size. So obviously, it is also affected by the external environment as well. So has also received influence from the global economic environment as well as the fierce competition from its neighboring cities. For Hong Kong, it also enjoys opportunities ahead. So Hong Kong needs to have a global vision, and it needs to have further two-way openness. It is because of the openness that Hong Kong has transformed itself from a fishing village to a modern metropolis. So in future, Hong Kong needs to continue to open itself wider to the outside world, as well as open itself wider to the Chinese mainland.
所以说，我觉得，只有通过发展，才能解决这个香港居民的不满意。但是一个前提，我觉得，大家可能关心的问题啊，如果潜在的这个跟朋友们讨论的时候啊，大家可能关心到，我觉得香港回归20年了，我们很快进入了第3个10年。那么首先，这个就是中央领导讲的，要全面准确地贯彻落实“一国两制”，一定要在全面和准确上下功夫，这样的话才能够更好地发挥好“一国两制”的优势。那么香港同时呢，要发挥好这个超级联系人的角色。我觉得这样香港的前景非常光明。我想老百姓这个市民啊、居民的问题、关心的一些问题也会逐步地得到解决。
People's dissatisfaction can only be resolved through greater development of the city. As we are entering the 3rd decade after Hong Kong's return, I think one important thing is to, as stressed by the state leaders, to have full and faithful implementation of one country, two systems principle in the city. Only in that way can we bring to foreplay the advantages of one country, two systems. And if Hong Kong continue to serve as the super connector between the Chinese mainland and the rest of the world, I believe Hong Kong would enjoy a very bright future ahead. And in this process, people's concerns would be gradually addressed.
Thank you, sir. Let's take a question from the floor. The gentleman in the purple. If you could state your name and affiliation. Thank you.
Hong Kong's unprecedented level of autonomy that has contributed so much to its success since the handover, allowed it to be so resilient in overcoming some of the difficulties that you mentioned. And while I know it's far away, from your remarks that Beijing considers it in China's interest and in Hong Kong's interest to continue that level of autonomy after 2047?
So you are with Bloomberg? 彭博社，您刚才在演讲中谈到了香港的这个自治是前所未有的。那么，而且呢，正是因为香港所享有的这种自治，在97年回归之后呢，香港是克服了一个又一个困难。那么，从这个中央政府角度来看，出于更好的维护中国以及香港的利益来看，是否在2047年之后，一国两制这个制度依然会得以维持？
就是我刚刚说的啊，这个因为“一国两制”这个制度啊，这个政策确实是一个新生的事物。在刚刚交流当中，大家也觉得，香港我们过去说是前无古人，确实是。那么说后无来者这句话不能说，因为澳门呢，在香港之后也在实行“一国两制”的这政策。这个总的“一国两制”的精神框架都是一致的。所以我觉得，中央政府会坚定的，这个始终不渝的实施这个“一国两制”、港人治港、高度自治，支持这个香港在这个 中央对香港有全面管制权的前提下啊，这个照顾香港的这个享有高度自治权，我想这种高度自治权会继续，希望这种高度自治权能发挥它的进一步发挥它的优势，但是呢，确实我刚才也讲了，一国两制啊，在实践中也出现了一些新的问题，或者说还有一些任务没完成，是吧？这是摆在大家都很清楚的问题。所以这个一国两制的实施，应该说取得了很大的成功，但是还有一些包括基本法的一些任务还没完成。所以我觉得现在谈呢，从我个人说，谈2047年以后的事情还为时尚早。我们在进入第3个10年之后，我觉得我们应该集中精力，这个考虑如何全面准确的落实一国两制，在这个全面和准确上下功夫，就是张德江委员长讲的，坚持这个一国之本啊，这个善用两制之力，在这个里面多想办法。
One country, two systems is indeed a groundbreaking endeavor. We have no precedent to follow in 1997, so it is indeed unprecedented. But we cannot say that it has no followers, as Macau also practiced one country, two systems after 1997, when this principle was established in the city. So the central government will remain firmly committed to the implementation of one country, two systems, Hong Kong people administrating Hong Kong, and a high degree of autonomy, and will continue to support Hong Kong in exercising a high degree of autonomy, while the central government exercising the overall governing power over Hong Kong. And we hope that Hong Kong would bring further into play the advantages of this unique system. And talking about the one country, two systems, it is indeed a new undertaking. So it is, as I said, natural to see new issues emerging, and some of the missions enshrined in one country, two systems are also yet to be undertaken. So indeed, great achievements has been made, but a lot still needs to be done. So personally, I think that it is still too early to say things that will happen, to make judgment about things that happen after 2047. As we are at the beginning of the 3rd decade after Hong Kong's return, it is important for us to concentrate our energy and resources on how to fully and faithfully implement the one country, two systems principle here in the city. And I think that would best serve the interests of Hong Kong as well as country as a whole.
Thank you. Next question, late in front.
Sarah Monks, a long-time member of this club. Thank you very much for your remarks, Mr. Deputy Commissioner. This question actually is a variation on the theme of the previous question. There was much discussion around the time of the Joint Declaration and then the Basic Law that this arrangement would remain for 50 years. And then when we had the night of July the 1st, 1997, that was described as China resuming the exercise of sovereignty over Hong Kong. So my question is, what would be an accurate way to describe what will happen on July the 1st, 2047?
Could you repeat which affiliation you're from? Media affiliation or?
I have an affiliation with the club. I am not with the media. I'm a member of the Foreign Correspondents Club.
我是 FCC 的会员。那么我这个问题呢是关于就是近期就有很多这样的谈论，关于中英联合声明以及基本法的。那么谈到呢，就是在这个香港回归50年之后呢，关于香港的这个一些安排，保持这个香港回归之后50年不变。那么在1997年7月1号呢，也是中方呢是宣布对香港恢复行使主权。那么想请问的是呢，还是在50年之后，2047年的7月1号，那么如何准确的去描述那一天会发生的事情？
所以还是，其实我答案也没有跟刚刚回答这位先生不同的。 我觉得我们还是现在真是说2047年以后的事情啊，真是为时尚早，为时尚早。那么这个还不如先把眼前的事情做好，是吧？把这个我们这么大的一个开创性的事业、开创的实践，这个把它实践好，在这个实践好这个当中啊，去总结经验，总结出什么样的政策，既是对中央好，对国家好，也是对香港好，对国际社会也好。我觉得这个才是一个我能说的。我确实不知道这个2047年以后怎么样，这个大家都在讨论，我也知道大家在关心。
I think I cannot give you the answer that is different from the one I gave to the previous question. It is still too early to discuss issues post-2047. It is better for us to focus on the pressing tasks ahead and to have an even better implementation of one country, two systems, which is a groundbreaking endeavor in the city, and to have sound review of the implementation, which will better serve the interests of Hong Kong, the city of Hong Kong, as well as the country as a whole, and the international community. So I myself really do not know what would happen after 2047, but I know that the society here, the local society, has active discussions on it, and that people are following closely this issue.
Thank you, sir. Next question.
Hello, Mr. Song. My name is Kin Ming Liu. I'm a former local journalist, and I'm also a FCC member. Throughout history, Hong Kong was always a base of subversion against whoever was in charge in China. So Sun Yat-sen was operating in Hong Kong against Manchu dynasty, and during the nationalists, communists were in operation in Hong Kong. And during Second World War, Chinese were against the Japanese. And of course, in the last several decades, before the return of Hong Kong to China, lots of other forces were being anti-PRC. I want your assessment of Hong Kong from that angle in the last 20 years. How Hong Kong has been behaving in that regard. Outside forces, how prevalent or how active have they been trying to turn Hong Kong into a base of subversion? 宋先生你好，我叫廖建明。听到。各讲，我是廖建明，我是以前的本地记者，也是香港FCC 的会员。历史上来讲，香港从来都是一个颠覆的基地。孙中山在香港反对满清，共产党人也在香港反对国民政府。抗战的时候，中国当然要对付日本人。回归以前，很多西方外国的势力也是反对中华人民共和国。我想从这个角度来讲，过去香港20年，你觉得香港在这方面的表现是怎么样呢？西方的势力、外部的势力，还是不是用在香港来颠覆了？谢谢。
那么你回顾了这个香港清朝满清之后的这一段时间的历史，正如我刚开始回答第一个问题说的，那一段历史是中华民族的取路史。香港同胞也跟大陆的内地的同胞一样，经受过非常大的苦难，都在努力的为国家的这个独立自强，是吧？统一在努力做想方设法的寻找出路。那么，1949年中华人民国成立之后，中国在世界上才有真正的建立起自己的尊严。特别是改革开放以来，国家的发展日新月异，整个经济各方面的这个进步是有目共睹的。现在是全球第2大经济体，只有在这样的基础上，我们的中华民族才能够光荣地屹立在世界之林。在这样的背景下，我们中国无论是内地的同胞，还是香港的同胞，还是台湾同胞，我觉得只要是包括全世界炎黄子孙， 都应该支持国家的统一，都应该维护国家的主权、安全和发展利益，让我们的国家能够在已经很好的基础上继续向前推进，实现我们提出来的2个100年的奋斗目标，就是2020年是吧？是全面建成小康社会和2049年实现中华民族的伟大复兴。我觉得这个很重要，很重要。那么香港是吧，在这个祖国的南部的边陲，在今天这个形势下，就更需要，同样需要为国家的这个稳定发展这个发挥它的独特的优势。同时，在为国家服务的过程中，香港它也实现了自己的价值，也实现了香港的繁荣，也可以能够改善香港居民的生活，这都是双赢的。就是所以我说的是，国家和香港是命运共同体。
You just gave a review of the developments after the Qing dynasty, the modern history of China. And as I said in my opening remarks, that period was a historical period of humiliation for the Chinese nation. And the Hong Kong compatriots, like the people in mainland, also underwent atrocities and untold sufferings during this period. And they have also fought side by side with people in the mainland for the independence of the nation and for the self-development of the country. So it was only after 1949, when the People's Republic of China was established, that the Chinese people have truly achieved true dignity in the world. And in particular, after the Reform and Opening Up program launched almost 4 decades ago, China has been on an economic, fast-growing track and has turned itself into the second largest economy in the world. And such achievement is widely recognized in the global community. So only on such basis, the Chinese nation has established ourselves with glory in the international stage. And only on such basis, compatriots in Hong Kong, in Macau, in Taiwan, and in the global community needs to stay united for the national unity and sovereignty and development interests of the whole country, and to work together for the realization of the 2 centennial goals, that is, to achieve a society of moderate prosperity in all respects by 2020, and a great renewal of the Chinese nation by the year 2049. So Hong Kong, at the southern tip of China, have put into full play its advantage to support the development and the overall growth of the country, while in this process, Hong Kong has also realized its value and realized its self-development. And so indeed, we hope this process could continue and could have a greater development for both the country and Hong Kong.
回答你的问题了哈。
Thank you. We have literally 2 minutes. Last question, quickly, please, if you can.
I'm Frédéric Lelièvre. I work for the Swiss daily Le Temps, based in Hong Kong, covering China. Mr. Deputy Commissioner, I have one question about the political reform. Hong Kong has been promised universal suffrage. There's been a package of the August 31st, 2014, which has been voted down by the LegCo in June 2015. On what conditions do you see this process being started again?
来自瑞士时报的记者。那么我的问题是关于香港的政改的。那么香港呢是有这样的这个政治承诺，就是能够实现最终在香港实现普选。然而我们看到呢，2015年的6月份呢，关于香港普选的这个法案，最终呢在立法会呢是被否决了。那么请问一下，在您看来，实现重启普选的条件是什么呢？
那就是我们就按基本法的规定来，就是这个行政长官这个会同行政会议成员同意立法会2/3议员 多数2/3多数立法会议员同意报请全国这个中央政府这个审议最后经过全国人大常委会，应该又叫5部曲。我在这里记不出全文了，但是在那个应该说基本法这个一个条文的释法当中全国人大释法当中说得很清楚，按照5部曲来做。那么首先我们既然要走这个5部曲我们就得对每一步骤进行去分析，它有没有可能。如果在哪一个环节根本不可能通过的话，我们再重新讨论这个问题，应该是只有害处没有好处。那么如果明知通不过的情况下，还要去重启，这对社会的和谐、对社会的稳定，或者对整个香港社会集中精力去发展经济、改善民生，都是没有好处的。
I think we need to follow what is set in the Basic Law, and there is a 5-step process for the constitutional reform, and you need to get the consent of the chief executive, the 2/3 majority of the members of the Legislature, and also needs to get the approval from the National People's Congress. So we need to follow the 5-step approach as clearly stipulated in the Basic Law and National People's Congress Standing Committee decisions. If we find that the process cannot continue on one specific step, then continued discussions on how to further promote this process would do harm to the overall process. So if a forced approach to push for a resumption of the constitutional reform, knowing that it could hardly be passed, well, I think that approach would not be helpful to the efforts of the Hong Kong society to concentrate its energy on economy and livelihood issues.
Thank you. Well, applause for Mr. Song for being so candid in engaging with us, and thank you for your compelling and topical questions. On behalf of the FCC.